we'll have a look and see what we can find, and we'll talk about each item as it comes up. So there we go. A lot of it's damaged, but it's battlefield relics picked up from the fields as my friend Roger Negus and I have been walking the Somme. This is just stuff that's been found on the surface, brought back to this country. We had a lot more, which we've given away to friends, family, and occasionally sold. This is what's been left, and along with other stuff, packed away in my garage for quite a long time. First item at the top there, that is a British bayonet, the hilt of a British bayonet that would have gone onto a lain field. That would have been quite long. I think it's about 15 inches long. You can see that the wooden grips have gone, but you can still see the hole where the end of the rifle went through. So that's quite a badly corroded one. Sometimes you find complete bayonets. This is the top of a German mess tin. Obviously it's all corroded away, but that would have been the lid of the tin, which would have been much bigger. I think we've got another one in here somewhere that will go with it. Let's just have a look. I think we've got something there by the looks of it. There it is. That's the other part. So that would go on there and fit on there like that. And the main part of the meal would be in there. The handle, you just pour that in there and you drink. So that's really not a very good quality, but still in two parts, German mess tin. Millions of horses were used on the Western Front, and here we can see a spur. This is they've still got the buckle on, actually, where the leather strap went through. The heel of the boot went in there, the buckle, the strap went round the front, and not quite sure which way up it goes. I think it's probably that way. There's a tiny little wheel in there. It's a little serrated wheel. Didn't harm the animal, but that would most likely be from an artilleryman. It was an artillery war, and there was well, tens of thousands of people in the Royal Artillery, Royal Horse Artillery, and that most likely be off that. Lots of British entrenching tools, I notice. These are fairly substantial, so they don't rust too badly. That's quite good condition. The wooden shaft would go through there, be about this long, and it would be used to dig probably not complete trenches, but if someone was found himself out in no man's land and it needed to get down below the ground quite quickly, or at least in a scrape in the ground, that's what he would use, and he could break up the ground with that part of it. So 1, 2, that's not a bad one. 3, I'll have a look at that one in a minute. 4, 5, doing quite well on entrenching tools. This one, I notice, has got the metal fitting that went on the end of the wooden stake that went through it. That metal fitting is still on there, although you can just see the rivet or the screw that held it onto the wood. The wood's gone, but metal fitting's still in there, which is quite interesting. Looks like we've had a go at this one already. This has still got its green paint on. I think this is the lid of a rations canister. So it'd be quite a big tin, maybe 2 feet long. I think that's what it's for. If anyone's got any alternative ideas, then please let us know. It's actually quite good. It's still got its silvering on the inside, or it's plated. There's a handle there. Obviously that hasn't been That hasn't come up for many a long time. But it's got a few markings on it. Looks like NO for number, 5, 1, might be a date. But that's pretty good nick. I think what we've done, we've cleaned it up and varnished it just to try and protect it a bit, and it's worked. It's the lid of an ammunition box. Looks like it probably opened that way. No markings on it. I think it might be British. I think there was a handle on there. That's obviously seen better days. It's either been destroyed in an explosion, or it could have just been run over and with tractor and plough over many years. But I think that is a British lid off an ammunition box. So that hasn't rusted. That's quite a substantial piece of metal that stayed in the field and rolled around for about 80 years. This is quite an amazing find. As far as we're concerned, this is something that was made in the trenches or close by to the trenches. It's sort of got a cross section there with this flat piece that's been pushed through a hole, been shaped so you can easily get it into the ground. We always thought this was a temporary cross for a grave. Unless anyone could tell us any different, I don't think or ever believe it's anything else. That's quite poignant. Obviously there's nothing on there to say whose grave, even which nationality, but that's quite a poignant relic from the battlefields. Here we have an axe. Well, needed an axe, really? The engineers, it may have been. Who knows who or what army used that, but that's not going to rust very quickly. Part of a British rum jar. You very rarely find these complete. Quite often you find much smaller shards, but that's good. It's got the SRD on it. I don't think anyone knows for certain what that means. Special Rations Detachment is one thing I'd heard. Seldom reaches destination was another one, a jokey version of that, but this was a rum jar, had a cork in the top, and the British soldiers used to get a tot of that before they went over the top quite often. Sometimes when you find these, they've got buttons on them, and you'll find that they've had stamps saying made in Birmingham. Another German mess tin. Now this is very interesting. As you can see, that says London. K2164. Not sure what that means. Buller's Limited. On here, it says GPO2. Now this can only be an isolator for electrical apparatus, maybe telephones, maybe power, I don't know. But this is quite a substantial object. This would have been bolted onto a pole or something, maybe in the trenches, and telephone wires or power was wound round it and used either for communications or power in the trenches. That's all to think of that, but that's been galvanized. That's galvanized steel, so that hasn't rusted at all. This insulator or isolator at the top just screws off. That's obviously been damaged, but as an item, it's pretty good. Lots lots of shovels, find lots of shovels. This one still got the wood in, which is interesting. That shape, I don't know. People will be able to tell me whether that's a German shovel or a British shovel. I don't know. But these would have been used for digging the trenches, obviously. That's really good nick. Another shovel there. Slightly different shape. Still got the wood in it. This is the top of a German ammunition box, I believe. You can just about see the handle. It's rusted there. And I think that would have opened like that. And it would have had machine gun ammunition in it. This is a British mess tin. Just as this German mess tin's like that, this is the bottom of a British mess tin. The lid's missing. You can see little brass fittings on it. And two little rings at the end for the wire handle. Wow. These are boots, soldiers' boots. Difficult to see what it says on there, but I think that's probably a British boot. Another hobnail boot there, or the sole of one. And the inside of one there. These just go around the inside of the inside of a British steel helmet. That's a reinforcement of the boot and the heel of the boot. Steel cartridge. They weren't all brass. Steel shell cartridge. Horseshoe. I mean, millions of horses in the First World War. Who knows what poor horse wore that one. There's the end of some wire cutters. You can see where the wire went in there. Handles are obviously rusted off. Not sure if they were British or German. Pliers. This is a rifle grenade. Nothing in it, but it's a rifle grenade. This would have been a lot longer. Gone inside the rifle. A blank would have been fired, and that would have been thrown out. Fired over from one trench to another, most likely. That's my dog. Sorry about that. He won't shut up. Looks like possibly another mess tin. This is a German hand grenade. Imagine the grenade part there. This is the wooden handle, which has lasted quite well. You don't often find the wood on these. You usually just find the rusted ends. German entrenching tool. That would have been quite small, like that. And the handle would have gone through there. Wooden handle again. That's the other end of the British bayonet. Snapped off. The hilt obviously would have been at this end. Well, we'll have another reveal shortly. Thank you very much.